Chief, Melissa, you guys ready? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. In an attempt to be punctual, I'll call this meeting to order of the Board of Directors of Sacramento Metropolitan Fire District. We will start this evening's meeting with a pledge to the flag, and I've asked Director Jones to lead us.
Thank you, Mr. President. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. A few announcements. The open session meeting this evening is videotaped for cablecast on Metro Cable 14 to be replayed on Saturday, February 28th, 2015 at 1 p.m. in the afternoon and Monday, March 2nd, 2015 at 6 p.m. in the evening on Channel 14, and it's also webcast at www.sacmetrocable.tv. The open session meetings are also available for viewing on the district's website at www.metrofire.ca.gov. Now is the opportunity for public discussion of matters of interest within the district's jurisdiction or not on the items on or not on the agenda. Madam Clerk, do we have anyone?
There are no speakers this evening.
Thank you very much. We'll then move on to consent. I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Thank you. I have a first and a second for the consent agenda. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Director Monk? Aye. Razali?
Aye.
Clark? Scheidegger?
Aye.
Kelly?
Aye.
Jones?
Aye.
Barnes?
Aye.
And Gould?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much. Just one question that I have for the item number 2 on consent. Can anyone give us an idea of where said equipment might be donated? That's some very technical equipment. I'm just wondering if it's going to be able to go to volunteer agencies within the state, or I know we've always had some issues there. Everyone's pointing to Chief Savage, so it looks like he gets to come up and answer the question.
Larry Savage, Assistant Chief Director of Training, Health and Safety. So they wouldn't be serviceable anymore because just about all of the bottles are out of hydro date. Hasn't been any maintenance to it, so not extremely a lot of value to it.
Yeah.
Probably more as a movie prop than anything else.
Oh.
So
Movie prop, that's a new one. Good. Okay, thank you very much, Chief. I appreciate it. We'll now move on to action items. Item number 1 is a resolution declaring the official intent of Sacramento Metropolitan Fire District to reimburse itself for certain capital expenditures from proceeds of proposed indebtedness. If we could have a longer title, that would be appropriate, I think. So if you could work on that, because that one's clearly not long enough. And you don't look like CFO Campo, so we're all discombobulated. Go ahead, sir.
Good evening, members of the board, chiefs. My name is Ron Empedrad, controller for the district, and I'll be presenting in place of CFO Campo. Sometime last month, the district purchased 2 board-approved battalion SUVs using its own funds. The plan was to purchase these vehicles using a capital financing lease agreement. However, the vehicles were acquired prior to us securing the financing. So we're still intending to go ahead with the financing lease and cover these vehicles. However, regulations require us that we need to adopt a resolution declaring the intent of the district to reimburse itself for these vehicles. So staff recommends that you adopt the board resolution declaring this official intent, and please take note that this resolution will also cover, in addition to the 2 battalion SUVs, also 2 new Type 3 medic ambulances. Any questions from the board?
Any questions from members of the board relative to action item number 1? Okay, I'd entertain a motion, please.
Mr. Chair, I move action item number 1, resolution declaring official intent, etc.
Thank you very much. I have a first.
I'll second it.
Thank you very much. I have a second on the item. Any questions or comments? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Director Monk?
Aye.
Razali?
Aye.
Clark?
Aye.
Scheidegger?
Aye.
Kelly?
Aye.
Jones?
Aye.
Barnes?
Aye.
And Gould?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, directors.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. We'll now move on to item number 2, pay scale equity adjustments. A little easier to put down there. Chief Holbrook.
Mr. President, members of the board, Chris Holbrook, Deputy Chief of Administration. The staff report that I have before you tonight is an attempt to rectify 3 positions that exist within the district that are out of classification. And by that, what I'm talking about is what we do is we look at both vertical and horizontal equity within the positions. The horizontal equity is that, for example, a manager needs to be paid as a manager, needs to be paid as a manager, and that we don't break that. The vertical equity means that the people within that division, there's a natural progression as you go up, and that I don't have a manager working for less pay perhaps than somebody who doesn't have management responsibilities. That's an example of vertical and horizontal. That's what we're trying to accomplish tonight. There are 3 positions currently within the system that are grossly misaligned, and the staff report before you is to adjust the human resource manager position, the accounting supervisor position, and the safety technician position. There's justification in the staff report that I won't read to you in detail, but I do want you to know that the fiscal impact, while they're grossly out of alignment, the fiscal impact is about $4,000 a month, and that will change as step increases occur over time. But just so you have a benchmark of where we're at, and staff recommends that the board approve these adjustments so that we can band across divisions.
Thank you very much, Chief Holbrook. Members of the board, questions for Chief Holbrook? Go ahead.
Excuse me. How often do we review the positions to make this kind of adjustment?
I will tell you that, in all transparency, it should be done annually. And unfortunately, this hasn't been done in quite some time. And so I can't tell you the last time that this type of adjustment was done. And that's indicated by the size of some of the adjustments. They were just plain miscategorized, I'll be blunt. So from this point on, what is important is I will tell you that we do now review them annually.
That's what I was looking for, was
Yes.
a mechanism. So thank you.
Thank you, Director Razali. Any other questions from members of the board on this item?
Mr. Chairman, I would just make the comment that I think it's extremely admirable that you want to make sure that these pay scales for managers in each division are in line. Thank you.
Other questions, comments, members of the board? Chief, I'll also follow my colleague in the sense I really appreciate it when we receive this material in those cases where an individual is represented, that you put in the dialogue that represented party has been identified and they've been consulted, and that's part of this process. So thank you very much for that as well.
Thank you.
Other questions, comments? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move action item number 2, pay scale equity adjustment.
Thank you very much. I have a first.
Second.
And I have a second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Director Monk?
Aye.
Orzali?
Aye.
Clark?
Aye.
Scheidegger? Aye. Kelly?
Aye.
Jones?
Aye.
Barnes?
Aye.
And Gould?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much. For members of the audience, the next 3 action items actually need to take place after we have our closed session, but under my prerogative, what I'd like to do now is actually complete the rest of the materials on this agenda, excluding the closed session. Then we will go into closed session. You all will go home, see your families, have dinner, whatever, but just don't hang out here. And then we will come back after closed session. We will take those action items, we will close those, and then close this session. So with that, we'll move on to President's Report. Just a couple of items this evening. I'd like to first thank all those individuals that participated and filled the boot. I had an opportunity to represent the organization there that morning as they kicked it off, and received a handsome plaque that I will make sure gets in staff's hands so they can post it wherever the plaques go. And so I wanted to give appreciation for all of those individuals. I can't even begin to imagine the hundreds and hundreds of hours, if not thousands of hours, that go into collecting those funds that really go into a situation that's priceless. I mean, to take care of those people that are burned, including some of our staff, is just, I think, an incredible effort. I also want to publicly thank the city of Citrus Heights and all their staff and individuals that support us having a position there. There are some cities that may not be so welcoming. But Citrus Heights and the staff and the individuals there really embraced this project, and it's proven every year. I think they said it was the 18th or 20th or some large number of years it's been going on. And if they're doing 100,000 plus a year, you're talking about millions of dollars that have been raised for this very worthwhile event. So kudos to all of them. The second issue is this week I had an opportunity to attend EPCR training for Metro Fire, and it was incredibly impressive. Some of the technology and the work that's gone in to start that process is incredible. And I want to thank all of those that have been involved and spent, again, countless hours getting that up to speed. I think it really is a model that many, many other organizations can frankly adopt very easily or quickly, and we can start to get some consistencies there. So kudos to all of the individuals involved in the EPCR development and training, and good things I'm sure will come of it in the future. So thank you very much for the invitation as well. We'll now move on to the Fire Chief's report. Chief Wells.
Well, thank you, Directors. I'm going to do something a little unusual. The very first action or item I'm going to talk about tonight, I'm going to go over to that other dais for a second.
Thank you.
Actually, as part of my report tonight, I want to, it's actually with great pride, but also some sorrow tonight. I have John Wagner tonight. Tomorrow he is retiring. And I would like to call Assistant Chief John Wagner up, please. And I have for him tonight, and this is the way a fantastic career started, and it's going to end tomorrow, 30 years of service tonight. I absolutely.
This one?
Don't have my glasses on.
Chief, is there a way we can entertain a motion to deny the retirement?
Well, and I'm not
healthy.
Yeah, and I'm not going to let him walk out of here unless he wants to say something. But honestly, Chief Wagner is a phenomenal asset to this agency and will continue to be in the future. 30 years of service to the communities, outstanding, and I just wanted to recognize that. So, thank you.
Thank you very much.
The only thing I'd like to say and address, thank you, Mr. President, Board, for your patience over the years with me. I'd like to say thank you in this public forum to the people that are out there that I have served over 30 years, starting with Rancho Cordova in 1985. And it's been a pleasure to be out there and to drive further with the board and the agency that I've served over the years with our true value of mission-driven, value-driven organization. It's been a pleasure and pride and ownership in what we have here. So thank you very much, and I'll thank you. I'm out there doing whatever I'm doing. So,
Chief.
Back as volunteer. So moving on with the rest of my report. Basically, we've been out in the community still. We met with the new Sac County Supervisor Patrick Kennedy last week. Very good meet and greet. We had a fantastic opportunity for a promotion ceremony. We honored 24 individuals that were promoted. As we see as our fantastic employees are retiring, we have a lot of young folks coming up that are stepping into those seats. And so those are great opportunities for us. The Fill the Boot, thank you very much for everybody that helped in that process, and specifically in filling my boot as I went out into the traffic, braving the elements with the other fire chiefs. I would say that the overwhelming support of the men and women of Metro Fire that were out there that day with me, I was really impressed with the rank and file that showed up on the day of the Chiefs Challenge and aided in adding to my boot. We were all about winning, and I'm good with that for charity. And so with that, I would like to say that we raised over $3,000 in my boot alone, which was very impressive. But I would say that I have to give a kudo to, and we won the challenge, which was fantastic, and that's what's important. But I would like to say that we raised $128,400.74 in the boot drive this year, which is the highest total since 2008. So I don't know if there's a correlation on the downturn of the economy with that, but I can tell you the correlation of Metro Fire's participation and all the fire agencies. It was just a great event. The city of Sacramento and everybody else was out there in force, Consumnes and Chief Metzinger from the airport and Beals fire chief was out there. So it was a great opportunity. And I would like to give a shout just to Tracy Hansen, the fire chief at Consumnes. She got very close and over $2,000. So next year we're going to have to grease our pencil a little more and make sure that we're we're ahead of the game. Outside of that, we've continued with our meet and confer meetings with Local 522. We've had 2 budget meetings this week, both on Monday and on Wednesday, going over our mid-year budget that we'll be bringing to the board in March. We had our first, what I refer to as a town hall meeting, where command staff and myself went out to Station 106 on the C shift, sat down with about 40 to 50 rank and file and also administrative personnel. We filmed that in a live streaming so folks that couldn't make the meeting could see it, and we've recorded it for posterity purposes so that even yourselves can watch it and afterwards. It's an internal document for Metro Fire only. That's the intent of it, but it was all about honest communication about where we're at, where we're going. People could ask an honest question and we'd give them an honest answer. So that's one of the different communication strategies that myself and our command team are putting out there. And we have a number of those in the rest of the year scheduled, May 6th, August 26th, and November 3rd so far. And details of those will be coming forth. We also have on the 6th of March, should be next week, the Academy graduation for 15-1 for the Single Role Academy. It continues. We keep bringing great new people into the organization. There'll be 16 recruits. That'll be at the community center at Citrus Heights at 6 p.m. So we will all be there for that. We have tomorrow, actually, we're holding the CFO panel interviews. We'll be interviewing 5 candidates, outstanding prospects. I am very, very delighted with the results of that. Tonight I'd like to talk about promotions. We've appointed to Assistant Chief Pat Ellis. He will be on the A shift. Pat's here in the audience with us today. That'll be effective March 1st. Very excited about Pat coming into our senior team. Supervising Fire Investigator John Barsdale will be effective February 20th. Battalion Chief Tom Neville will be effective March 1st. And Captain Jason Butler effective March 1st. So we're excited about that. Let's see. The media events this week, I think you were kept up to date by Michelle Idem on the director's cut. Can't say enough about what the work that Michelle is doing. She is out there everywhere doing some fantastic presentations showing what the men and women of Metro Fire are doing, to include the burn prop demo, the new boats that they had out of Discovery Park that was a regional purchase on grants, and we went out and showed that capability off, both with Metro, Sac City, Folsom, and Cal OES. And then the press conference for the SAVE program is at West Sac, I believe today. The SAVE program is a program where they give an amount of money in a credit card type of arrangement to people that have suffered a large economic loss in a fire or that type of thing, get them back on their feet. And last, I'd like to say the Kings game on the 20th, we had a large number of our folks out there, Engine 105 and Medic 101, and it was for the hands-on only CPR portion. But the piece I'd like to really, and it's great that our engine company was out there, and I'd like to specifically recognize, we have a single role paramedic. His name is Rick Walker, and he actually heads up the sidewalk CPR program. And he was on the microphone that night instructing the entire stadium how to do hands-on CPR. Phenomenal contribution to one of our young up-and-coming folks in this organization. So thank you, Rick, for running with that program. So outside of that, that's all I got, unless you have any questions.
Okay, thank you very much, Chief. Chief Taylor, no. You guys are just messing with me.
Good evening, President Gould, Board of Directors, Chief Wells, Maurice Johnson, Assistant Chief, EMS Division. I've got the pleasure to give you your operations report tonight. Since your last meeting, we've had 3,640 total calls of service. 14 of which were structure fires, 3 were wildland fires, and 2,987 were EMS dispatches with a transportation rate of 76%. President Gould, you mentioned the EPCR program, and it's my pleasure to give you a little bit more information on that tonight and really recognize the team, but specifically one person, Captain Barbie Law, who's in the audience tonight, for her hard work on this program. So the EPCR program has been being worked on for the last 2 years. It's a 2-year process, and that's from putting the RFP out, selecting the appropriate vendor, the design, implementation, evaluation, and the deployment, as well as the education component. So it's a 2-year process, and they're finally getting to the end. The work and effort that's gone into it, especially from Captain Barbie Law, who's the program manager, I just can't tell you how much time she has. This is both on and off duty. It seems like she's working on it every single waking moment that she has. And so she's done a tremendous job, not only putting the program together, the training together, but also pulling in all of the stakeholders. And that's the hospitals, the counties, everybody to get this project up and going. And it's worked out very, very well. So just to give you kind of an idea of what they've done, the entire team, this is the EMS and IT division. They put together a 3 hours of hands-on in-person training to 547 line personnel in the last few weeks. That's every single EMT and firefighter that's going to be EMT and paramedic that's going to be touching this program. An electronic patient care report, that is going to take the place of the paper. We currently have just about 65,000 patient care reports every single year, and that's all by hand. We actually have 2 folks that go through every single PCR, every one of those that come through. They are very happy that this program is coming into play. So this will definitely streamline the process. It gets information to the appropriate folks in a more timely fashion. The program manager, like I said, was Captain Barbara Law. Rick Maloney was in charge of the training. He was the lead. And I want to point out our super users, Captain Chris Marsh, Bryce Mitchell, Sean Burke, Matt McGrew, engineers Ronnie Sorgi, Vince Purcell, Kyle Senior, firefighters Eric Satch, Eric Kumalainen, Andrea Gardner, Ryan Wolf, and paramedics Chris Botto, Peter Sorbero, Kyle Fritz, and Matt Dargan. And it's important I want to point them out specifically because they did do extra training, and they're going to be the folks that are the technical experts. So when we have a problem in the field, they'll be the ones that have all the answers. Last piece I have for you, this program will allow us to tie directly into the hospital. So all of our patient care reports that are taken care of on the scene, that information is transmitted directly to the hospitals, and it actually arrives before the patient gets there. So this is a tremendous, tremendous leap forward. Truly, when you look at it, I know it's been 2 years to put this program together, but realistically, we've been looking at this for the last 15 plus years, and we're finally to that point. And so once again, congratulations to Captain Barbie Law and her entire team.
Thank you. Okay, thank you very much for that. Now, Council Lavra, you're going to have somebody else give a report for you? Or are you going to wait?
I'll wait.
Okay, thank you. 4, Firefighters Local 522. Do I have a representative from that organization? Seeing none, we'll move on to committee and delegate reports. I have none for the Executive Committee. Comm Center JPA, Chief Holbrook.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have quite a few items, but I will be brief. The Comm Center JPA met this week in this chamber and came up with a resolution to spend the excess contributions from 2013-14. Those will be applied to projects that are in this particular budget year moving forward. In addition to that, reviewed the board up contract and it is moving forward. Approved the 2013-14 budget to actuals. Had a closed session issue on Isleton and River Delta in which no action was taken. And our next meeting actually is not the 31st. It's March 24th. We will have a board workshop to cover CAD financing and then an open session to approve the excess move of funds from one fiscal year to the next. With that, I will answer any questions.
Questions for Chief Holbrook? Thank you very much. We'll move on to California Fire Rescue and Training JPA, Director Kelly.
Yes, the JPA met last week, and among other things, actions taken were to provide paid time off on holidays for some of the staff there that have very few benefits. We also discussed different programs that currently exist and whether or not it's prudent to continue with them or maybe revamp the courses that are offered. We also had discussion on the building and the fact that the building isn't quite working out at this time, and steps we may take to change that situation. Chief Grijalva is doing a wonderful job over there, and he's getting good support and cooperation from the member agencies. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Kelly. Director Monk, Finance Committee.
We have not had a meeting since our last one, and the next meeting is Thursday, March 12th at 5 p.m.
Thank you very much. Director Scheidegger, Policy Committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Policy Committee canceled its meeting tonight because the agenda items need a little more tweaking before they come to us, and we will schedule another meeting as soon as those items are ready to come before us.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll now go into closed session to pursue the items that are listed there, and then we'll come back and finish this meeting with board member questions and comments. Thank you very much for attending. Please go home and see your families. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll go ahead and reopen open session of Sac Metro's regularly scheduled meeting. We'll have Council Lawver report out on our closed session.
Thank you, President Gould. The board met a closed session first with respect to items 1A, B, and C on the closed session agenda to discuss the industrial disability retirement applications of the three employees listed, Christopher Anaya, James Johnson, and Michael Wigginton. The board took no action, and these matters will be up for consideration in the open session action items to follow. The board also met in closed session for conference with labor negotiator with respect to the items listed in 2A through E to discuss issues related to those negotiations with the identified bargaining units. No action was taken.
Thank you, Council Lawver. Let's now move back to action items. We'll take action item number 3 at this time. It is the industrial disability retirement of Christopher Anaya. I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I would move staff's recommendation.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. We'll now call a roll.
Director Monk?
Aye.
Orzali?
Aye.
Clark? Aye. Scheidegger?
Aye.
Kelly?
Aye.
Jones?
Aye.
Barnes?
Aye.
And Gould?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much. We'll now move on to action item number 4, industrial disability retirement of Captain James Johnson.
Mr. Chairman, I would move staff's recommendation.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
I think I heard 2. Melissa, did you get it?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Please call the roll.
Director Monk?
Aye.
Orzali?
Aye.
Clark? Aye. Scheidegger? Aye. Kelly?
Aye.
Jones?
Aye.
Barnes?
Aye.
And Gould?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much. We'll now move on to action item number 5, the consideration for industrial disability retirement for Captain Wigginton. I entertain a motion to adopt staff's recommendation.
Mr. Chair, I so move.
Okay, I got several.
Okay.
Okay, so first from Director Jones, who seconded it?
Clark.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Please call the roll.
Director Monk?
Aye.
Orzali?
Aye.
Clark? Aye. Scheidegger?
Aye.
Kelly?
Aye.
Jones?
Aye.
Barnes?
Aye.
And Gould?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much. That takes care of the action items for this evening. We'll now move to close with board member questions and comments. We'll start with Director Barnes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to say thank you to the members of Metro Fire and to the other agencies that contributed to the Fill the Boot campaign. I took my daughter to the safety fair on Saturday and let her go through all the different apparatuses and also to check her ability of whether she knew what to do in the case of a fire. Of course, in the public safety field myself, I felt she was well equipped, found out that she was not. So it made us re-implement a family plan that evening, which was good, and I would encourage every family out there to do so. If you do not have a plan, talk about it. Sometimes it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when an emergency happens, and it's important to have a plan. So thank you for that. I also applaud your efforts, Chief Wells, on the town hall meetings. I think it's important that you get out there and let the members know that the administration and managers are invested in their well-being as far as what is going to happen as far as the growth of this agency, as also it needs to be responsible in that growth. And this board supports that, I believe, speaking for myself. And also congratulations to Chief Ellis and Mr. Barsdale on their newly appointed position. So that's all I have. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Director. We'll move on to Director Jones.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to, in addition to the congratulations that Director Barnes has mentioned, I would also like to congratulate Chief Wagner on 30 years to the day. That's pretty gosh darn good. Congratulations to him. Congratulations, Chief. Boot Challenge, #1, way to go, and all the supporting dollars that trickled into that boot. Thank you, and job well done. Additionally, for the last item, I had written down community, but it really is a regional impact. The CPR training at the Kings game in the arena, that's just fantastic. It extends beyond fire district boundaries. It extends to the region. And I'm really, really proud that Metro has stepped up and is participating at that level.
Thank you, Director Jones. Director Kelly.
I have nothing this evening, thank you.
Thank you. Director Monk.
Caught me off guard. I want to congratulate all the people that retired and long distinguished careers. Again, the total number of years of all the people that retired is just astounding. And the length of time it's going to take for people to fill those positions and come up to speed to the expertise that those people retiring had attained. It's a long road ahead of them. Of course, that's why they've got a long career. So congratulations to them, all the people that were promoted, like the other directors said, and us working together to move things forward. Appreciate the effort.
Thank you. Director Razali.
Go on first. I just wanted to congratulate all of the participants in the Fill the Boot. It was a great event, and to my friends, new friends in the Wheatland, Wyoming Fire Department who captured me in their Fill the Boot. Wheatland is about the size of this room. Congratulations to them as well. I wanted to personally thank the Chief for his idea regarding the Public Safety Foundation. The Chief has come up with an idea for a fun run, and that we are pursuing, and we'll be conducting that. One of the suggestions, Chief Holbrook came up with the thought that we would get a picture of everyone who beat the Chief's time, and then he took the idea back, saying we would require such a wide-angle lens that it would be imprudent for us to do that. Anyhow, with that, one other thing for the board members, you will be seeing, and all the people of Metro Fire will be seeing something from the Public Safety Foundation called the 5-12-3 program, which is a campaign to seek donations for $5 a month for 12 months a year for 3 years to support the initiatives in growing the foundation, and I look forward to bringing that to you. So thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll now move on to Director Clark.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. All I would like to add is to thank Chief Wagner for his 30 years of service. I think that's fantastic. That's a long time in a career. That's all I have to add.
Okay, thank you, Director Clark. Director Scheidegger.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just 2 quick points. Number one, my wife and I in the car yesterday heard an excellent radio spot about Metro's success with the boats grant. And I'm sorry I forget the individual's name, but the spokesperson on the grant for all of the agencies involved was from Metro, and he did an excellent job. And once again, the community should be very proud of Metro and our success and leading the charge of this grant and keeping our community protected through this means of funding. Secondly, Chief, you talked about your town hall meetings. I had occasion to visit a couple of stations recently, and really getting positive feedback. The troops really appreciate your doing that, and I want to, on behalf of the board, want to say thank you very much for taking your time to do that. I think it's going to pay dividends to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Director. As we conclude this evening, I'd just like to remind my colleagues that several months ago we were kind of teased with the idea that Sac Metro Fire would be participating in the Senior Open that's coming at Del Paso Country Club. So I'm just hoping that at some point here in the near future we'll get some feedback from staff on what role Metro Fire is having and which members of the board will be playing on the amateur day. Might be not a bad gig. So anyway, if you guys could bring us up to speed, because I know it was talked about a while ago, but I don't know that we've had any updates since then. And all my colleagues, thank you very much for participating in the conversations this evening and helping us get some dates planned for additional meetings in the coming weeks. I really appreciate your timeliness in that regard. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your attendance. We look forward to meeting you in a couple weeks, which I believe the next meeting is scheduled for sometime around March 12th at 6 p.m. in these chambers. Thank you very much. This meeting is adjourned.